I had envisioned being a 21-year-old millionaire, if you ask my 17-year-old self. And nothing could be farther from reality. But I wouldn't have it any other way from this standpoint.
First of all, congratulations! Not one, but 2 Grammy nominations this year, right out the gate. I mean, is it crazy to think that just 2 years ago, I mean, Cardi B and Chance the Rapper were judging you on rhythm and flow, and they know a thing or two about getting some love from the Grammys, but I mean, has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, it's sunk in because the work is real, you know, so we've been putting in work for a long time to get to this point, and to maintain a platform like this, it takes a lot of work and commitment, so that part is really grounding, but, you know, to get recognized for it is for sure something worth, you know, celebrating.
And it wasn't that long ago that Cardi and Chance in particular won Best Rap Album. So it's kind of like a gnarly full circle moment. But obviously this has been a long road to the Grammys for you and a long musical journey. And as someone who had a big part of that, I know, was your mom. What was her reaction when you scored these nominations from the Recording Academy?
My mom is better at celebrating my achievements than I am, you know what I'm saying? So I take it all in stride, but she really, you know, if I want to get emotional and get worked up, I just look at my mom's face and then I'm like, all right, mom, don't do that to me, you know.
Because she feels everything for you.
Absolutely, you know, because, you know, she made sacrifices so that I could have these opportunities. You know, she's a brilliant musician herself. In having 3 boys really young, she just, you know, decided to prioritize being a mother and teaching us everything she knew, which ended up being like our advantage in the studio and in our endeavors.
I heard that you guys get to take one person with you to the Grammys. Who's your date? Can I assume it's your mom?
Yeah, mom is my date.
That's
mom
right.
is my date. Yeah, because she's also on the song Black Habits, one of the biggest songs off my project. You know, she's rightfully the person that I'm taking with me.
I bet she's stoked too. Does she have a dress picked out?
Yes, she does. Well, no, not picked out. It's custom made. So that's
there you go.
Yeah,
what a special night you guys are about to have. That's so awesome. You know, you've worked with and have learned from a lot of mentors, a lot of people who have been nominated for Grammys before. Have you heard from anybody? Has anyone give you any advice as a first-time nominee?
Not so much advice, but just getting congrats from Snoop Dogg hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Of course, a lot of different people hit me up, and, you know, close friends and family from Inglewood just reaching out and let me know they proud. It just means a lot. You know, the ones that mean the most are the ones from home, you know, because they feel like they're on that platform when they see me up there. So that's dope. The people, like the ones who have already had that, the people who have reached the pinnacles of rap music and music in general, the Snoop Dogg's, that's really dope too, because it's like to get recognized by your peers is something special. So it's 2 different feelings, but they're both nice.
Well, it's also crazy when your peers become, or, you know, your idols become peers, people you looked up to, right?
Absolutely.
I'm curious, what do the kids that you taught Spanish to say about your success?
The first thing they say is "pura vida," you know. So when I was teaching Spanish, that was my greeting with them. Like every time I would come into class after I took roll and all that, they knew class was about to start when I'd be like, "Pura vida, clase." Every message that I get it starts off with "Pura vida, Señor Faris," and all that stuff. So, and you know, of course, that's from my little study abroad experience in Costa Rica and some things that culture taught me. So it's beautiful for them to see me there and have real life memories, you know, because to the rest of the world, it's a story. To them, it's like, no, we saw him every day for at least a year. Some students had me 2 years consecutive, you know, so.
I love that you just set the vibe right every class. That's what you're going to do in your whole life, I could tell.
Got to set the vibe.
That's right. Well, before you won Rhythm and Flow, I know you were writing and producing for others. Like I mentioned, you know, you have been pounding pavement and worked really hard to this moment. What about your journey has surprised you the most, and has it been what you expected?
The thing about my journey that surprised me the most is that it happened so quickly after so much time, right? So even after a long time, it took me developing the patience to do it day in, day out by myself. And at that, when I was determined to do it that way, when I was determined to take the long ride, it happened right away. All the times in my 20s when I was trying to make it happen right away, it took forever. So that was just the irony of the situation. Like even I think Pharrell said in an interview years and years ago, it took him 10 years to blow up overnight. And it took me 15 to blow up overnight, you know?
Wow. And do you feel like that's humbling? Like, do you feel like it's shaped your perception of like the music industry?
Absolutely. I had envisioned being a 21-year-old millionaire, if you ask my 17-year-old self. And nothing could be farther from reality, but I wouldn't have it any other way from this standpoint.
Were the Grammys on your vision board? Like, was that like a pipe dream for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What's crazy is I always saw myself on the Grammys for having produced something or having written something for somebody else. Like initially my dream wasn't to be a star or to be famous. It was to be the mastermind behind a lot of music that people listen to, and still is, you know, to be in this position for my own music and to be able to have a voice of my own is something really special outside of the music as well, because, you know, in our interview spaces, people are interested in the story, in the man behind the music, which is very cool.
Well, you have such an amazing story, and I feel like you have also such a bright future ahead.
I really am here because I believe you really are the future of Black music.
John Legend said that you are shaping the future of Black music. Now, when you hear that from an artist that is so respected like John Legend, what does that mean to you?
It means everything. I try to limit my fan moments when I come across the John Legends and the Snoop Dogg's. I know so many of his lyrics. I just knew that was one of those artists that I was gonna listen to entire projects. Like, I love a lot of music from different people, but I tend to pick my songs, as a lot of music listeners do. But when he first came out, I really paid attention to entire projects, song for song. So when he says that, it's kind of like that we share a common cloth in how we approach music, how we experience music, and how we want to share it with the world.
You have cited, you know, rappers like Snoop Dogg and like Outkast as some of your biggest influences. It's one thing to be influenced by them, it's another to work with them and collaborate with them. Are they on that list though? Are those like dudes you want to work with eventually?
Absolutely. Yeah. Huge Outkast fan. I've worked with Snoop Dogg. Snoop was on my one of my singles from the last project, Gasparianga, and he pulled up in Inglewood and shot a video in the middle of Inglewood, you know, and it was just a big moment because, you know, one, anybody who knows the streets knows Snoop and Inglewood, there's an inherent difference in territory, but being Snoop Dogg, he has so much love across all of those boundaries that people would assume prevent how he can move. So it was just so much love. He pulled up in my city, shot the video, and gave me some game in the middle of that whole process. You know, he told me, I'm gonna show you how to build your legacy. Like, you got success already, now it's about building the legacy.
Your thoughts on the West Coast sound? Why do you feel like it's important to, you know, keep that sound thriving? And also, do you feel like it's evolved at all since when you were growing up?
Oh, absolutely. The West Coast sound has evolved. The West Coast is super influenced by funk. You know what I'm saying? You got that stomp sound that Battle Cat used to incorporate into a lot of Snoop records, and, you know, the Dog Pound records and things like that. And then now, you know, with, you know, things like the jerk movement and all that, it kind of picked up the tempo and all that stuff, and it's right now at a place where it combines all that. But what I think the West Coast uniquely contributed to music is that is its musicianship behind everything, right? What people don't know about the West Coast, there's this big there's a big movement where a lot of these church musicians find their way into the studios and produce on the record. So you have this very gospel influenced, still gangsta sound and music that you can hear in a lot of the greats of West Coast music, from Ice Cube, Mac 10, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Kendrick Lamar, and, you know, that I like to carry into my music as well. So I do put myself under a lot of pressure to perform, to put myself in a space where I can hear new original creative ideas. And so that takes a lot of discipline in my personal life, just to tune out the things that might distract me from what I'm supposed to say. And then in terms of what I would say for any kid that wants to pursue music or whatever their dream is, I would just say, give yourself time and continue studying, and always be open to growing. And you know, things do happen for the people that put in the work.